fine. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Welcome, dear traders. Today we have a new episode of the SME podcast. Sorry I didn't do it for a while, but today we have two very special guests, Anand and Roshan,
Hi.
my dear friends and brothers. And I personally think like in this culture we always focus on people who made it big and who are already there. But sometimes we can learn even more from traders who are on the journey, who are learning the market causality, who are improving. So I'm very excited about today. Anand and Roshan have been using the MKM web for a while. We're going to ask them the easy stuff, the tricky stuff. So I'm very excited. And by the way, guys, as I said, it's freestyle. So please, if you want to go on any topic, go for it. You know, this is a bit casual.
Yeah. Nice.
How has it been, guys?
It's been a roller coaster. It's been a growing experience. You know, I've been trading stocks for a few years now. For the last few years, after knowing Djamal, he's shown me forex. So I've been looking into the forex markets as well for over a year now. It's been very interesting. You know what Djamal teaches is very mind blowing. We started off with a demo and things were going very well.
That's the way to do it. Starting with a demo, guys.
Getting the screen time, seeing on how the market works, because it's a very completely different machine to stocks. As it's 24/7 or 24 hours, you've got to really make it work for you with your time schedule, your time zone.
It's more trading activity compared to stocks, no? Like if
In stocks, I used to be 1 hour and I get out. I'm done for the day. That was where my edge is. But sometimes the market structure shows edge at 8 o'clock in the morning or in the afternoon. You just have to keep on looking at the market causality. When the edge appears, that's when you execute.
Very true.
So the edge is very good. It's very powerful. Mind-blowing, actually. That's why I've actually moved towards forex. Though, you know, we've had some extremely good weeks, extremely good months, then followed by challenging weeks and challenging months as well. So it's still always a student of the game. You learn from your losses as well.
Sure.
Which has been very good and very humbling, you know. At the moment, my relationship with size has been a big of a problem, you know, especially after a winning streak. You win, and then your ego gets inflated,
Get carried away, no?
Which is not good. Things become too easy, and you start adding size. The only thing I don't like about forex is the leverage, you know. So you have to make sure that you use a lot less small leverage, you know, because the applications, the brokers give you so much leverage, so much free money. That you think, okay, I'll just play high leverage and just make a lot of money quickly.
I think that's a great point, right? Like Roshan said, like the brokers try to push you to trade bigger and bigger. They want you to use the leverage, but I agree 100%. It's very dangerous. There's no need to use a lot of leverage in forex. What you can improve is your accuracy, your selection of trades, managing the trade. These things can become much more important than putting big sizes and going big on trades, right? Yeah. So I agree. This is a very important point.
Just
you also had
no.
I
have to be honest. That's the thing about the sizing situation. I feel like I've only been doing it for just under a year, and it's been a low learning curve. Going with the demo and applying in a certain way. I've been adding size and then going to live. It's been a bad habit into a certain way, and with that, you've had to kind of learn from it. Understanding that you have to be intentional with your positions, where you're entering, and knowing that it's very easy to press the button, but having that self-discipline and control is very important in trading. You have to have that balance.
It's really true. Like it has to be a given, right? You can't gamble around and put big sizes. I mean, it won't end well, no matter how good your strategy is, right? Because you always will have a loser eventually, and if you have a big trade in there, you may give back a lot of profit. No, you get frustrated.
Yeah.
And the worst you can do is like revenge trading, doing a big trade.
And that's what happens. I've noticed that the more I want the money, the harder the trade. You know, so really just think about the process. Play a small size and just wait, be patient. Let the market causality do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
But
with that.
you know, it's just when you start having a losing streak and you say, okay, I can make this back in one trade, and you add significant size,
Yeah.
and then it just adds more stress. It's just it's not worth it. It doesn't work out that well, you know. You want to do it in a least stressful way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree 100%. What do you guys think in terms of the market causality? When you look at the easy weeks, what kind of setups did you find easier to trade, and which ones were more tricky?
The squeezes were very good, very profitable.
Yeah.
They were easy, you know. Like the JPYs were very, very, very.
Yeah, that
Good,
was
you
great
know,
moves. That was great
They
moves
were all
this year.
correlating for like several weeks
Yeah,
and
yeah,
several
yeah.
months.
Squeeze faces, no? Like where you just know, oh, the dumb money's on one side and they're gonna go
Yeah,
against them, no?
and at least like if it correlates a certain way with the squeeze and you have your MTS right there, you already know
Right.
where the targets are going.
That's
there.
it.
Those
That's where the money is.
Yeah, you already
When you have
know.
the MTS and the squeeze and you trade on the
You
right.
already know where to go.
That's it.
the OSTs I really do good at. I do better in the OSTs than the MTSs.
Oh yeah? I printed this example.
That was at JPY.
No, that was dollar yen from today.
Dollar yen, yeah,
Yeah.
dollar yen, yeah, JPY, yeah.
And you see, like with the 3 option strike targets, and boom, it went exactly. It took all of them. It took the MTS. It took the auto get zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was a nice long trade from today. I think that's interesting. Option strike targets, I would agree. Like they are probably easier to trade, no? A little bit, because you know
I
when.
think the MTSs take longer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're impatient and you got some size, you know, you just see that like this week I was having a Euro JPY for the OST. Yeah, my God, it was kissing it. Literally, I think it was
Yes.
yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
And I just took it out.
You took the profit early, did you? Or what was it?
No, it was so close to the OSC.
To the
But
target.
then, you know, the money longs came, it pushed the price down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I was losing profits.
Yeah. Like
So-
the thing is, that's very important. The option strike targets. The one thing you have to pay attention to, and that's maybe a good moment to stress that, is pay attention to the squeeze line. If the squeeze line, for example, if the option strike
Yeah,
target
it
is
was
long,
not-
you want to buy it.
Yeah.
And if the red squeeze line is upward sloping, that's what you want. If the green squeeze line, however, is upward sloping, you have to be careful because it means that the longies are entering. So there can be a move in the counter direction.
So yeah, it wasn't, the squeeze line was not pointing up so violently. So like, I do not have that high conviction. And we learn from experience that I can pull back as well.
Yeah.
And if I've got some size that I'm, after holding for a few days, at one point I think I was, I'll be honest, straight up honest. I woke up early one morning to do my morning walk, and I looked at the screens and I thought I saw an opportunity, so I thought I'm gonna go long.
Sure.
And what happened whilst going for my walk? It went down. So I was holding on to some stress. But it recovered, which was not I knew that it was going to recover, but I had to deal with that stress. I'm risking,
You guys, what are you using in terms of risk policies? Do you use like a scaling thing where you say, I increase several times, but I don't exceed this size? Or do you have a fixed target stop? Like, how do you approach it at the moment?
repeat again.
Like what's your risk policy you use at the moment? Like, for example, do you trade in a way where you say, okay, I have 3 times I can increase a trade, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, for if it goes against
It
you.
depends. It really
Yeah.
depends
Yeah.
on my mental state on the day. Some days I'm feeling really good and I say I can, but there's some days I'm just not feeling good at all, and actually I
Sure.
might not even trade. Or
Yeah.
if I see like I don't want to have fear of missing out, so I'll just play the minuscule size and I'll get a little fix and a little bit of profits.
Yeah, that's very important, no? Like, maybe we should talk a bit about that. So, the mindset, no, the psychology, the
flow
discipline, you mentioned
states.
the discipline, right? In some days, like you say, no, we are not 100% focused because of maybe other things which are happening in our lives. No, and then you have to say, oh, I'm not 100% focused, I have to be careful, trade small, like you say, no?
Yeah, the hardest thing about trading is not trading.
Yeah.
And you're damned when
Write
you
that
do.
down, write that down.
You're damned when you do and damned when you don't. Like
right.
when I enter the trade, it'll go against me. But then when I don't enter the trade, it'll go my way. So sometimes going small size and you say, okay, I don't mind if this goes 1,000 pips against me at this size, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be comfortable, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because I know that if it goes up 5, 6, if the target's 600, 700 pips away or whatever it is, I can make it not risking too much.
Right.
Knowing with the small size at least.
Do you look at, for example, when you look at the MK, do you sometimes say, look, there's a stop on the other side, and even if it goes against me, it will maybe take this one and turn around?
Yeah,
Do you do
yeah,
that?
that's
he
why I
does
do
that
that.
good.
That's
yeah?
what I do for like my entries. I believe it's just a certain way, and I just think of that just like you go the counter way. So at
Yeah.
least it's better to have a defensive mindset, defensive
Nice.
structure. If it just shows, it's better off to go enter where you think will be the
Yeah.
area of the stop. I will bounce back up,
Nice.
and that
Binding
allows
tips,
a good risk reward,
Wow.
and with less stress. and
Listen
you're
to this. You see what I mean, guys? This is the stuff I want to get out the gems
Yeah.
because that's a very important point, and that's very smart because like I know some of you are aggressive traders, but this mindset sometimes can really be something to improve everything. You see what Anand said? So rather than saying, look, I'm enter now, I look actually at the counter side. Maybe there's a stop where the smart money wants to clear it, and maybe that's where I want to enter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
like
then you have a stop loss just a little bit below where the position bars are,
Yeah.
and you feel that okay, if it breaks that down even further, at least you have that
Nice.
risk in place, risk
I
management.
personally wish, like that Euro JPY trade that I took first thing in the morning, I wish I would have put an order,
A limit.
a limit order, 1,000 pips down, rather than chasing it, first thing in the morning without even having my coffee or going for my walk, no shower, nothing,
Yeah.
I just looked at, that's the first thing I do, I look at the screens.
That's-
But
yeah. I wanted to
I've
discuss
got to
about that.
control. I've got to find a way. I've got to do my morning walk, and then I'll go
For sure.
for my
we come back
trade.
to that topic when we talk about the
There's a fear of missing out.
Sure.
Yeah, in regards to like the referring to waking up in the morning, how forex
Yeah.
is very early, you wake up and having that habit of just looking at screens, it's not very practical in just
Yeah.
having that time. You have to have downtime for yourself, time to get yourself centered, and then go check out the charts and understand how things are going.
This week,
It's the best option.
like that market crash that happened, the crash that happened
pound
last
yen?
week,
Ah, the
all
pound.
all the yens went
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I actually, when I saw GBP JPY down like 6,000 pips, I was so mind blown. I've never seen anything like that, because I remember in this journey we've
You mean
seen
you mean the flash crash from some years
last
ago?
Monday. No,
Ah, right.
that was last Monday. That went down 6,000.
To 180. It went to 180.
Yeah, that went
Yeah.
down 6,000 pips, yeah. And you know what? I was really thinking of just dip by and keep it, It's hit 190 today, but
Yeah,
it was too, I don't know, like, I'll
yeah.
tell you something, because at the beginning I thought 2,000 pips was a massive move. Then a few months later I see 3,000 pips, and now I've seen 6,000 pips as even possible.
Yeah, so I mean, like what happened in pound yen is like over, a month, right? There was a squeeze. Shorters came in and
Yeah,
sold
yeah.
all the time, right?
Yeah.
Red bar, position bars, squeezes. It went up over weeks, right? Like so much. So actually, I caught this short trade because what happened is
You said USD when that you pointed out on the reversals happening.
I didn't print this one. This is Euro Aussie. But to make a long story short, you remember like once it took the top and then we had a bit of a money switch and then the shorties started collapsing.
Because I think that hit 208 or something. Or
Yeah. Like when it came all the way to just below 180, and then bounced a bit. But that was a real classical money switch, really.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay, I thought market was empty and Nalgo just wanted to hit the moving averages or something.
Yeah, sure. No, it's not that the market was super full with longies. That's right.
wasn't so
no,
full,
it was
no.
like after. What happens is if in a situation like
All the
this,
shorts left.
yes, exactly. After so many weeks, like the money loses the appetite, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, like, can you imagine? Like, often it's the same trader selling, and they lost so many times that either they are out of business, quite frankly, right?
Yeah.
Or they say, what, it's gonna go up now, then, and they actually get caught on the buy side. The market is so high, and they get lured into buying, which is really nasty, right? It's super expensive.
Yep.
And then once it happens, boom. But that's, you know what, this is the whole point. I mean, that's maybe to summarize.
I was very grateful to not be in any of those trades that day.
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole point of the market causality. Like the money kind of decides, isn't it? If they all sell and they put the money down to sell, well, the price will just go in one direction. It can go forever, really. Right?
Yeah.
This is a big lesson because like many people, they're trying reversal strategies, and if they get caught in something like this, they lose because they sell the reversal, and it's going up because everybody wants to enter cheaply. You know, it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. You know what I mean? Like this is the dangerous part. And by the way, also the reason why so many systems get destroyed is because of that. Because sometimes the market is in a squeeze where they do that, and then after the squeeze is over, they do follow reversals and all that, right? So there they destroy all the systems which try to catch a trend by whipsawing them. You know?
Yeah.
That's the whole point, isn't it? Like,
Of course.
just to finish this off, like, look, I printed this one. You know, this is Euro Aussie day chart. I mean, this is a classical thing. Look,
That was a wild move.
Yeah.
That was on the Monday. Yeah, that happened.
yes. So you know that if you see like the shorties came in, the red bars, they sold massively, and they did this massive stop hunt. No, look to all the highs from the day chart. Like boom, look at this.
Broke the highs.
Look what happens. The shorties collapse because they get kicked out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and then they get a margin call, and then the thing implodes. What you mentioned before is this, right? The market is empty. Like the shorties are all served, so the thing collapses.
You know, position bars on the side.
Yeah.
You see that it's quite empty. Yeah.
Yes.
Compared to
Yep.
other
That's
occasions
right.
when you see like in the JPY period, everything was just a wall of shorts.
Yes, that's
So you
right.
could feel much more conviction to go long against them.
Yep.
But yeah, you use that as a support even or as an entry zone as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think this summer's been, at least these summer months, have been less traffic, I guess, less.
Yes.
Is that
I
normal?
think so.
Yeah, you know, I don't think it has much to do with the summer as such. I think in this particular year, so what happened is because you remember before, like 2 months ago, we had these massive moves, the massive squeezes, and I think the market got really destroyed. And you know, I think then the phase came where, like you said before, it's a bit more empty. You know, there's more down money tolerance, so they mess around. And so that means that soon there's going to be a good easy money phase as well.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course. That's the thing. It's cycles. Yeah. Everything has its cycle. You gotta have your good months or your good quarters, your bad quarters. It's just how you're going to respond to it. If you're going down and you're losing.
Yeah.
Maybe the best thing to do is just not trade. Just give yourself
Yes.
a break. Because
yeah,
not
that's-
trading, avoid the screens, avoid everything, reset your mind,
Yes.
hit the books, understand, and just like it will come. You just have to be
That's-
Who
patient.
said it? There's
Yeah.
a time to go short, there's a time to go long, and there's a time to go fishing.
Fishing.
You know, yeah, and
Oh man, you
who
see
said
that?
that one? I can't remember that one.
I don't remember.
I read it. It was Curtis Faith,
Maybe
I think.
market
or
wizards. I don't know.
One of the market wizards said
But
that.
listen, this is amazing. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Like it's also a bit of common sense, right? You don't always trade just because you can trade. This is very wise. Trade when you see that the money is easy, right? That you can easily collect pips. If things are more tricky, stay on the sidelines and trade very small. Like don't do the same thing. Like you know, trading you have to be adaptive. You can't do the same thing every day, right? I always say it's not a kebab shop.
No,
You can't cut your
definitely
meat
not.
every day. So that's very wise. Like you have to be adaptive, and I realize that against human nature, isn't it? Like human nature thinks I do this every day, and then if you have to adapt to these phases, it's a bit counterintuitive, isn't it? Maybe they designed it that way in order to.
Yeah, no, you have to find a life out of the screens. Like now I understand why you're always keeping yourself so busy.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be
Music
looking for trades. No, you want it to present itself. Not that you are looking for something
That's
that
right.
might potentially happen. It may happen, but it
right.
might take so many days, and we want it quickly, you know.
Exactly, because that way you don't sit there trying to do something, push the button where you shouldn't, you know.
Yeah.
But it took, I tell you what, Roshan, it took me a long time to get there. Like when I started out, I was the opposite. You know, my problem was I was this entrepreneur type, always wanted to do things. And this is deadly, right? I mean, you end up doing all kinds of trades. No, I had to completely reinvent, you know, my mindset, be like you say, like sniper, you know, wait for the right opportunities. It took me a while, you know, I didn't, like it wasn't really like intuitive for me. I had to really make a 180 turn.
Yeah. Sometimes, you go through so much stress. You say, is it really worth it? Sometimes, this is actually the crazy thing. If you're trading every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're all green trades, you're having a great week, and then all of a sudden Friday, you lose it all.
Sure.
You know, so
Yeah, to a certain point, this kind of dynamic is also part of the game, I think, sometimes,
you reflect.
Yeah.
You say, "Oh my God."
Sometimes you have a few good days, right? And to be honest, with any system, even an automated system, it's, when you look at the data, how the system trades, you will actually often find these kind of things. Like, over days it makes a nice profit, and then suddenly in a few days, it gives back a big chunk, and then it continues. So maybe this dynamic is also a little bit part of the game as such, but I remember, like, it was also in Market Wizards. I forgot who it was, but he said, like, it's actually part of his strategy, like, to get more aggressive when things are really easy, up to the point where like he gets caught on something and then to go down again.
Yeah, when you're on a good winning streak, you should go harder.
thing,
and
when
then
the
when you're
markets
losing
go,
streak,
right?
maybe
Yeah.
It's time to push when you know, and you can
rather than revenge
but
trading.
at the same time, though, you have to be aware that when things go down south, and you have to have certain boundaries, a certain life vest, like what you say. At least have good stops in place and understand if you're on a losing streak. Just take yourself out of the game, at least for a break.
We need boundaries with the
Yeah,
relationship
but
of the
stuff.
market.
Yeah.
No, but no, seriously, it's true what you say.
Yeah.
Like, that's important for survival. If you don't have these boundaries, this becomes a nightmare.
Because it's a marathon.
Yes.
It's
Nice.
not a sprint. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
In those hard times as well, maybe you shouldn't be trading. Maybe you could be doing other things that can improve yourself, like reading a book or exercising, cleaning your house. There's a lot of other tasks that
You are really good at that, no? You always do a lot of work to improve other areas. I think that's excellent,
You'll be like, all this hard work that I'm doing now, in 5 years' time, I'll be thanking myself.
Yes.
And I'm growing with all the books that I'm reading and learning. My way of thinking has also changed. So,
Really good. Roshan always is really on top of things. It's self-improvement, and he teaches me a lot. He reads many books, and I really believe that's the way. In general, I agree. I think if you combine the manual trading with your lifestyle, there is a way to do everything in the right way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like sometimes, you should be there sitting at the screens. If there's action and you see that stuff is building up, for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you say, you have to keep it small, keep it, controlled.
tame your illusions,
Yes.
tame your desires, tame your greed.
Yes.
We've had some very good weeks, and with the weekend and all that was all the same. It was just having a heavy profitable week. But it didn't mean that I was gonna go partying or going traveling. The lifestyle inflation. No, don't let that attract you. You know?
That's an interesting topic. Maybe talk about it as well. I love that. Yeah, staying humble, right?
Yeah.
Not staying humble, being thankful, being grateful. All these spiritual things, they play a role. They do.
Of course.
Right? And think in the long term, like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I always say that, and not. Because when you go on YouTube, you see all of these scam traders. Oh, you're gonna make 10,000% in 1 week. All this BS, right? It's BS. I mean, any professional trader instantly knows that, and we live in that
They're
time.
selling illusions.
Selling illusions.
Saying trading's
Oh,
easy.
It's not easy. It's one of the most difficult things you can do, because there is no tolerance for any errors. You will get to know yourself really well. It's super intense.
There's a book that I read a couple of years ago called Winning by Tim Grover, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's trainer. And it talks about winning, the mentality of winning. And the first few lines are pretty much straight. It's a really messy thing, winning,
Wow.
There are days that you're going to get kicked in the teeth.
Right.
Michael Jordan has missed loads of shots, last set-minute shots, but no one always talks about that. They just think about the wins, but he's failed loads of times as well. But he's always showed up, or he's always put in that extra amount of work.
Wow.
Like they used to wake up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning and put in that extra work.
I read the other day, Roshan, somebody said about Michael Jordan that before each match, basketball match, he already had 200 or 300 practice shots.
Yeah.
So during the match, was just another shot for him. Wow, I agree. 100%. Self-improvement, and getting better for sure. Wow. Okay.
Trading is similar to taking free shots as well. You win some, you lose some, but you take it as a sniper shot as well, as a single. and if you win, great. If you lose, fine. On to the next free throw.
Yeah, and don't lose your shirt in the meantime, isn't it?
Huh?
Don't lose your shirt in the
No,
meantime.
no,
right?
no, no.
If you don't do
Small
stupid-
size,
Yeah. Yeah.
reasonable size relative to your account,
Yeah.
and just keep it'll compound. All your gains compound. I went to a conference in Madrid
yeah.
in May.
Yeah, talk about
And I spoke to two owners of, not one owner of a brokerage, and the head sales representative of another one. And they were very truly honest that everyone's blowing up, and even making 100, 200 bucks a day or every few weeks is winning. You know, it's better than what 95% of the
I mean, the
population
brokers, they
are
see
doing.
the truth, isn't
They
it?
were
They're on the other
I was
side.
actually really surprised. I thought they were going to try and sell me their product, and they were telling me everyone's losing. I was like,
Yes, I mean, like I've been a broker before, and whenever I talk to brokers, they see the other side, so they see everybody losing, right? And that's the truth, isn't it? They see the dumb money, and when you look at the markets, I mean, it's literally like that. No, the majority of the market goes on one side. The smart money immediately sees it and takes them out, right? So these guys, even though they may not be the smart money, they have some insights. And by the way, they use them as well. They do.
yeah.
So I call them like semi smart money. By the way, as a footnote, you remember that was a long time ago, but when Alpari went bust with his 4,000 euro Swissy pip flash crash.
Ah,
Yeah,
that was, I remember.
My theory is that what happened is that the real smart money algos, they took out those B players, you know, because they had some positions on the book as well.
What year was that? That was years ago.
That
no,
was
many years
yes,
ago.
that was 2000. Well, 2000. So the Yang flash crash was 2016. The Euro Swiss was 2000. I think was it a year before? I think a year before.
15 or something. Yeah, okay.
I think so. No. Yeah, I think the Swissy crash was first, and then the Yang crash. It's like. I think they really went for all the other players who are not market makers but who are brokers. You know, they have clients.
Yeah.
And what they did back then, at least, many brokers, they had their own dealing desks. You know, they were giving people the so they were also trading against clients. You know, But these days, what we have the prop shops. So it's a bit different today, in 2024. You have these prop shops who create their own trading environments, and they take business away from those brokers. But they're basically also doing the same, right? They make profit if people lose those challenges. They keep those challenge fees, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so this kind of thing continues in another way now. And I'm not saying that prop firms are bad. I mean, if you do a good job and you find the right firm, maybe you make money with it, right? It's something to look into. But the truth is 90% of people lose over, you know?
Yeah, like
They know that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
so all they do is like they go on the other side. Like,
I
okay,
do-
you pay me like a challenge fee. All right. If you lose, I keep the fee. You can do another challenge. If you win, you get a cut from the profits, which they normally pay out of the losses from everybody else. You know?
Social media has like really helped attract a lot of customers because there are a lot of these influencers or gurus. Like they're just showing their profits, and I've looked at the positions and I'm seeing like maybe they just made 100 pips, but obviously they've got maybe 10 lots on it, and I'm like, that is not good risk reward.
I know, man.
They're just looking at the gain,
Yes.
but they're not knowing that it's just 100 pips. Like we go for 1,000 pips,
90% are scammers out there. You know, it's really like that. I mean, like. In the worst case, they have a white label broker thing, so they can actually change the accounts, and they can show you like profitable accounts, but actually it's all fabricated. It's super nasty, these things. And then, like you say, they do massive marketing.
They just show the gain. People like to see 10,000, 20,000. People are really struggling with inflation. They need money,
Yeah.
so then they see someone like
Yeah.
advertising their course saying, learn how to trade and make these kind of profits.
How nasty, no? Like, and then they end up losing more, you know? Yeah, that's another thing why I'm doing this, as you know, like, because I try to show the truth. And I agree what, these wise brothers say. It's like, it is difficult. You have to always be your best. You have to really improve constantly. You have to really do your homework. Even the causality, I tried to break it down, but still it requires a bit of studying and tape reading, right? It requires you to watch and see, this is how it works. No, what do you think?
Yeah, actually, I've been like with your videos. Like, there's been a lot of good tape reading, just watching like the time lapse.
The time lapse, not
yeah,
like
that's what
that.
I've been watching, and it's been great to see because like it's just been a different perspective and
See,
seeing.
should I do more of those?
Yes.
Time lapse.
Like it's because I was watching, I think the other day, the GBP USD, and it was just understanding how it was just the fluctuation of seeing the position bars and how you have your longies on one end, your shorties on the other, and it's like how it moves.
Yeah.
And and watching that in the screen time, it makes you understand how it moves, like certain currencies.
That's maybe really good, no? Because then you see like everything like really in a time lapse way, so you see quickly how it. No?
Oh yeah.
But
like
things
what,
don't
3
happen
weeks?
quickly.
Yeah.
No,
Like
exactly.
forex,
Like
that's
in
the
reality,
thing.
it takes days, no?
So slow.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
You know.
But the best trading is actually boring, like when you want to make things more exciting by playing size, but trust me, play smaller, be boring, make money, that's it.
Very good. 100%. Very, very wise. It's true. Very good, guys. Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
Even playing small size, you can make some significant money.
Yes.
Double or triple your salary. It's just that when you get those dollar signs in your eyes saying that you want to make 5,000 or so much a week, you got to add more size, and that's going to add more stress. The algos are not going to make it easy.
No, I agree. And
Unless you see some extremely good squeeze or
Sure,
something.
I mean, like the others-
maybe that's when it's worth putting a big size, but not on every single trade.
not every single trade exactly. And sometimes, there are situations where you can go for it. Yeah, there are. I think like you have to find a balance of pulling the trigger and being defensive, like you said before. A balance, right? Like if you are too defensive, you may miss a few good moments as well. Or let's say in the easy trading periods, you may not make as much, and then if the more tricky phases come, you give back too much. So in a way, you also have to be aggressive when the time is right. I agree.
Definitely.
But still, that's within means, right? I mean, you can't go crazy, and some people do that. I
Yeah.
I think it shows the time frames as well. It's like you have to look at the different charts and seeing how things are moving. Like, for example, you can look at the 5-minute chart and see everything moving in a certain direction, thinking, okay, I've missed it. But in reality, if you go to the hour chart, it's like slow everything down. It allows you to have that perspective. Everything will retrace. What goes up will come down a bit. And
Excellent. 100%. That's a very good point. Thank you for making it exactly the time frames, because I feel sometimes certain market phases are focused on a certain time frame, right? Sometimes you really check the 4-hour chart because there will be a reversal, and sometimes even like recently I was mainly looking even at day charts, and then there are phases where you can really go to the hour chart, 30-minute chart, do short-term trading. That's a very good point. I think the strength also is to actually change your focus between different time frames depending on the market phase.
Yes.
Good points. And guess what? That's something we as human traders can do better than an algo. That's why the human brain actually, when you're a bit more experienced and you did more tape reading, at some point it gets into your subconscious, and then these things you develop a feeling for, right? Now it's time for the 4-hour chart. Let me focus on that.
Your intuition.
Intuition, that's it. Intuition. And to, for example, program this into an algo is very complex, That's one of the things where we as humans, by experience.
Yeah, no, when you use your intuition, you say, okay, this is worth my stress, Not every trade is worth your stress. Or you feel like you got a higher probability with this intuition that you got after so many months of screen time, of tape reading.
Yes. And of course, in every year.
I learned as well, when it's so close to the target, sometimes it's just like not worth it, because I've chased it. I think I'm chasing it, and then it's pulled back.
Yes.
It's not worth.
And your risk reward will be really bad, isn't it?
Yes.
If you miss it, you have to leave it.
Yeah.
If it's like 20 pips and just a normal pullback.
Sometimes I see 150 pips and I say, let's go for something, and then it pulls back drastically.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. You know why? Because think about it. If you do 10 trades like that, let's say 8 of them will hit the target and you get the profit. But then those 2 trades, they will pull back, and the drawdown from that move will exceed those little profits.
It might you might be able to handle it with your account, but it's just like unnecessary stress.
Yeah.
I've done it a couple of times. It's not worth it. You know, it has to be at least 500 pips I've got to gain.
500 obviously for yen pairs, no? Like for the other
Oh
pairs, it's a
yeah,
lot.
okay.
The
Few
average-
hundred or whatever it is. Yeah.
For the euro dollar, you know, I mean, sometimes the pip range is 80 pips, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The daily,
I'm still learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was up 400 yesterday,
The-
and I didn't take it because I really wanted it
Yeah.
to go up the whole point.
You know,
I
and by the
did
way,
have
that's, as a footnote to this topic, good that you mention it, because when you analyze the pip range of each pair, you know, you will find that historically, even for example in euro dollar, you know, I think it was a year ago, the pip range was super low. You know, on some days it averaged 50 pips, like average, you know, going up and down. And recently we have seen like the pip ranges increased again, but for each pair that's actually also different. But that's maybe a nice homework if you're interested in these things. You want to do some historical data analysis. Pay attention to this point. Pip range, average pip range of each pair, and of course from pair to pair is different. Like the yen pairs, they normally have more pips. And for example, a very dynamic pair like pound dollar has more pips than, for example, euro dollar. But the main pairs, you know, euro dollar, even Aussie, sometimes it can be super tight. And you know what? This is another thing for the systems, because most trading systems, they are programmed in there's some hard-coded stuff in there, right? So when they when the smart money changes the pip range, it destroys many programs. You know what I mean? Automatically, just by increasing the pip range suddenly, and then algos which may have worked well in the phase with a tighter pip range may get destroyed via that. You know. Good that you mentioned it. It's an interesting topic. I haven't talked much about that topic. I think I can't remember that.
So yeah, yesterday was a very interesting morning because I've been cooling off the trading, but yesterday I woke up and I saw that the squeeze was there. So I said, yep, today is the day to have a trade on. And I just entered and it was working super well. But then, you know, like I said, I recently have been failing to grab my profit. So I did have a target though. I did have a target. But as well with the squeeze as well, I really felt that there was news, and even with the dumb money shorts, it would have just still been fine.
But I think last month you had a really good phase, no? Where you were doing like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You caught like OSD left and right.
So yeah, sometimes it's really good, but sometimes it's not good, because sometimes you can develop bad habits.
Yes.
Especially with the news. The news is 50-50.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Because
Let's check
yesterday
whether
there
it's
was
good.
news, and then today there was news.
Yes, it's good that you mentioned that, Roshan. News, right?
Yesterday the news was fine, it worked to my favor, but today it did not work to my favor, and the squeeze was still there. And actually, I think it went down. I took the loss, and it was bouncing back up, but I had to take the loss. You know,
Yeah.
you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys something interesting. It was around 6 years ago. There was this guy, and he was only news trading. You know, and back then it could work. Like he had a strategy. Sometimes he wouldn't go directional, right? He would place like a buy stop above the price, a sell stop below the price. You know, and when the price did some move, he would take some pips, and he even made a bot out of this and all that. Man, this thing completely died. Because so these days there are almost no news traders in forex anymore. You know why?
Yes.
What do you think? Why?
You know, it sounds all exciting making those 1,000 pip moves in 2 minutes, but yeah, like I said, good trading is boring.
Yes, and did you?
It's
did
very
you see,
stressful.
Did you observe that, for example, U.S. news, yeah?
Yeah.
And you look at, let's say, Australian dollar versus U.S. dollar, and then suddenly U.S. unemployment is high, so you know Aussie dollar would need to go up because the dollar loses value, right? But what happens? Everybody sees that everybody's long, so down the green position bars. So what do? You know, they push
Slam it down, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this whole position hunting has destroyed news trading, and that's one thing I'm proud of, because you can actually observe even years back when you look at the MK charts, you can see how the algos became focused on position hunting, and therefore they killed news trading. Because before, you know, like around I would say maybe 7-8 years ago, you could literally trade, like you could wait, right, until the unemployment is published, and sometimes even after the publish you could still trade. You know, pocket like a big move. You know, this is over, and I don't think it will come back ever, by the way. All these guys who were focused on news trading, they were done. So don't do that. Yeah, don't. News trading is over. You can. Okay, I think you asked before, Anand. No, what about the news?
Yeah.
Yeah, like normally I try to avoid them, right?
So you're not in a position.
Well, okay, this is more complex, but so like you said before, no, let's say with a big number, inflation,
Yeah.
right? You know that there's going to be, even in euro dollar, there's going to maybe be a 350 pip move. So that means that it's super risky. Also, the spreads widen, right? You saw it a few times now, no? Did you realize how they widen the spreads during the news announcement? They take out stops with that?
Of course, and they consolidate in a certain area.
Yes.
That is because they know that news is coming, so they're not going to
Yeah.
put it directly in one
or
side
when,
favor.
when the
other
news is
side.
coming,
Yeah.
they'll always
Yeah.
be so choppy.
Exactly, you know, so...
The action is
and you know what
not
happens
fun.
if the spread widens and you get filled on a stop, you have to pay the spread, you know?
Yeah.
Like the bad
Yeah.
one, even if it's just for a split second. So that's another way how brokers also play games, by the way, because they add that to the market spread as well. You know, they add more spread during those times. So that means it's super risky to trade news. However, there are situations where I even trade the news. For example, like you said, squeeze. You know, if there's a big squeeze going on, even if they do a counter move, you know, they will finish up.
Yeah. Like today. Like today,
Euro-
pound to US dollar and euro
Yeah.
US dollar. Like they went down.
Yeah.
Once the open happened, it was just like you're seeing the squeeze was still intact in a certain way.
Yeah.
That you just have to be patient. As much as when you see it going down, you shouldn't just try and catch the
Yes.
falling knife.
Yeah.
You're better off to be patient. Wait till the open, see how things are going.
Yeah.
Once things round up,
Yeah, I
it's
think
better
I had
off to
too big
enter that.
size. Really, I shouldn't have had the big size. At least, yeah, to my risk appetite, I didn't want that stress.
Yeah.
Today. In this summer heat, it's already so hot. You know, in summer is already very stressful just dealing up with this heat, and then losing money or being up and down is just more stress.
Sure.
So yeah, when it comes to the future trades with news, I'll have to play minuscule size just to avoid the stress, you know, because losing trades can lead to bad revenge trades, and I don't want
Yeah.
that. I rather
Yeah.
stay smaller but have a better profit curve,
Sure.
you know, than a very like drastic down.
Exactly.
steep
No, you
ones,
don't
you
wanna-
know.
You don't want to have that whipsaw going up and
Whipsaw.
down.
Mhm.
But this is the thing, you have to learn
Small
from it.
gains
These are all
compound.
learning. Like
Yeah.
these are all lessons you want to have. Like
Yeah.
that's why it's best to go through this phase, especially early on in forex. It's just small size, manage your risk, and see the different cycles that there are. There are going to be hot times, there are going to be cold times,
Yeah.
and it's how you respond to them.
There are
Yeah.
And
lots
that's how
of
it builds your
opportunities.
character in
Yeah.
your trading.
There's a lot of targets, you know, the
Yeah.
OSTs, the NTSs, you know, there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunity there.
LTS sometimes, right?
LTS,
Yes.
yes.
Actually,
That's what I was going
Djamal-
for with
Yeah.
the Euro USD. That's what I was holding more for that one.
Yeah.
Which I believe was 500 pips away. It was like it's a 111 or something like
Yeah.
that.
And that's not every day, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like in Eurodollar, you don't see LTS nearby every day, right? So
So
sometimes.
I said I'm gonna hold it even,
Yeah.
and with the news, you know, it'll just push up.
Oh, good that you remind me, because there was another thing actually I took down. Yeah, like just as a little footnote, trade management. Sometimes if you had a good entry into a trade, whether it was MTS, OST, whatever, if you see that suddenly the structure changes, that you are on the right side of the squeeze, and maybe there are even LTS on the right side, hold it and ride it. Because it's a free trade, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe you can protect it. And of course, sometimes it will do a pullback and kick you out, no problem. But you know what? Sometimes you get the big bonus there. You know, it's actually
Yeah.
very important. Like when you see everything aligns, why, you know, even if there's an MTS and it's taken, very often if you see that the macro and the higher time frames, the day chart is 100% in your direction, keep it, you know?
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Give
yeah,
yourself
yeah,
a
yeah.
10 times payday. Because it's a free trade,
Yeah.
right? If it
That
comes...
could be the trade of the week,
Yeah.
you know, or the trade of the
Yeah.
month. You just need a couple of those, and
Yeah.
then you don't even need to be a slave to the screens.
Yes, and you know, they don't come every day, I know. But whenever you see an opportunity, I really recommend I know it's difficult, it's not easy because you want to take it, right?
Yeah.
You want to take the profit and call it a day. But sometimes it's really a great idea to say, you know what? I don't see any reason from the market causality why this thing shouldn't continue for days.
Yeah.
And you know, like if you catch one like that, it's, you know, like even if you do system testing, these kind of trades make a massive difference in your P&L, you know, in your profit factor, in everything, obviously, because if you have some of those home runs, you know, and I know sometimes, I mean, after a few days it gets itchy, right? I mean, because you know news are coming up, things could change, so you really want to grab it. But I knew this one trader, he was really focusing on that. And I know it's not easy to do that, but he was trying to write, you know. Sometimes even from the small time frames, and if he caught something, let it be, even over weeks.
Yeah, everyone's got different personalities and they can do it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could hold it for that,
Well,
that
but
long.
everything has
Though
to
it does
align.
work out. It does
Difficult.
work. Though after looking at the screen time, it does work out.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
And
I mean,
yeah, why not? Maybe I should be doing those kind of things. Small size, just keep it there, leave it for a week or two.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
works very
yeah.
well with the JPYs since the crash. You know, I
Yeah.
think all
Yeah.
of them have.
Yeah.
They've taken 2 weeks. Well, less than that, 10 days
Yeah.
kind of thing, to hit those OSTs.
How
And that
is-
was like 5, 6, 7,000 points.
Yeah, what's your guys' experience with entering a chart expensively? Was it difficult?
So
So when the thing moved already,
Yeah.
and you see, well, I have to buy though.
Yeah.
I've always been
It,
taught.
it varies on like everything that comes into play. You're seeing
Yeah.
how the position bars, more shorties coming in. You're seeing the daily chart showing
Yeah.
everything's aligning a certain way. The risk is there is a chance to actually let it go right a little bit further up. You can enter in like much
Don't
more
go
expensive.
full size though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Don't go full size.
It's
but-
counterintuitive, isn't it? No, when the thing
sometimes-
went up, you want to buy. It's like, oh,
Yeah, it's mind blowing because you're buying expensive. Really, you want to buy at lows, but when you see it at high and you see a squeeze, you have to go for it.
yeah.
But you have to control the size because it can pull
Yes,
back. It really, it's happened to me as well, and it's like normal. So
Yeah.
and it's pulled up after, you know.
What you could do,
But
and that is also no buy,
You
and
could
then
just scale.
Yes.
Use a third of your
A limit.
a quarter of
very good.
you know, in case you want to
Yeah.
have one full lot or 2 lots, whatever, just put 0.5 or
Yes.
0.25
Yes.
and break them out in chunks.
Exactly. No, break
So
them
you can
up, and then
average it
maybe
up.
exactly at a limit to buy very cheaply. No, either it gets filled or doesn't.
Yeah.
So very good. So that means, right, guys. So splitting up the position, not going all in. If it's an expensive entry, say, look, I'm entering, and I also keep like some for a better price, manually or even by a limit order. Sometimes that makes a big difference. Very very good point. But isn't it true that like you can't always enter cheaply, isn't it? You can't.
No.
Maybe a 4-hour reversal.
Yeah,
But do you guys? What about that? Did you guys? Well, I know recently there were not many 4-hour reversals, but I think a few months ago there was more. What is your experience with that?
Yeah, it was good. Man. It's fun. It's fun when it works really well.
I had a tough experience because I had I think it was AUD USD. It was a long squeeze, and I thought, okay, we'll just carry on. And so I was at the bottom, so I thought, okay, I'll still ride it out, still holding, and then it just reversed completely, and it just shot up. But thankfully, it was on demo. That's the thing. These are lessons. So
Sure.
at least to understand things can reverse and to actually have a plan to get out as soon as possible when you see it's not going your way and when the squeeze collapses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've got good streak, you get really humble because there's got to be a day that you've got to take a loser, and when you're so consistently green, you have ego and you say no,
Yeah.
it'll pull back up, everything will be all fine, and then it just keeps on going down and down and down.
Yeah.
So you have to just take that loss.
Sure.
Learn on how to lose.
Yeah.
The best loser wins in the long run.
Sure.
It's more-
But yeah, regarding 4-hour reversals, I mean, if you really look, if the price, if you see that the Damani switch, the squeeze line already kind of collapses,
Yeah.
the price already bounced, already took the previous lows, it's a very solid setup.
Those are
You know,
easy. I think I got that with the New Zealand dollar USD
Yeah,
a few months
I
ago.
think you
there was
told
an
me.
OST,
Yeah.
a very.
You got a nice one.
I
No,
went-
it took the target and bounced, no?
It was rapid. I was going for a walk and I heard about it and I just entered. Nice size. I was high conviction and I think it half hour kind of thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if the next trading phase starting now, we're gonna see several 4-hour reversals. So keep that in the back of your mind, because now we're at the phase where there was a big trend moves. There was a clear out last week with all these stop hunts and pin bars, And now we get into a phase, not in all pairs, but in many, where they're gonna do the bouncing thing on the forward chart.
I think more retail will be coming now after the
Yes.
summer vacations.
Yeah. Retail
Even
traders come in more. Exactly. Very good.
stock trader, at least in the American stock market in summer,
Yes.
it's a lot slower. Compared to maybe the winter months.
Yeah, in forex it's probably not necessarily like that because there's so many algos now trading. But I agree.
On the retail side,
yeah,
at least.
some retail traders. I mean, not that they're a big group, but they will come in, and so
Is
even
that the real dumb money?
yes, and in the main pairs, euro dollar, pound dollar, even Kiwi dollar cut. By the way, dollar cut makes some beautiful reversal
Dollar card
moves.
had
Yeah,
some
they had
nice
good ones
squeeze.
this last month, wasn't it?
Yeah. So pay attention to that because now a different phase starts. So don't do the same things you did in the last weeks because now a new phase is starting. I mean, you can literally see it, even randomly when I go back to this Euro Aussie chart. I mean, you see like after this was a very long phase where the price basically went in one direction with small pullbacks. We had the big reversal, we had the stop hunt, we had the post-stop scenario. So you see moving averages on the day chart, they love to clean them. You see,
Yeah.
like there is this tendency now to do the more for hour reversals. So and look at that. The
Wild move.
yeah, the shorties got killed, longies got killed. So keep in mind that on the forward chart specifically, there can be those changes. So don't try to necessarily catch the trends. When you see the thing is over the blue line and things are switching.
Yeah.
And by the way, also if you catch a 4 hour reversal, try to ride it often to the other side of the channel.
Yeah,
Because
because you already have the good entry there.
yes, like very often you can see, like I don't have a chart here, but when you have the forward channel and then it literally bounces back and forth, and if you caught a good one, it's coming with momentum. If you don't see any dumb money coming on the wrong side, let it run. Because
Yeah,
often
yeah,
it goes
yeah.
to the other.
I love that. Those are one of my best strategies.
Yeah,
that
you
I
did
use.
it. Yeah,
I like those ones.
You
Those-
did it like a while ago. You really smashed it. No, like with the 4 hour reversals. No.
I've had a few good I have more conviction with the 4-hour reversals
Yeah.
when I see large volume bars and all that, and the squeeze. I've got high conviction, high confidence,
Yeah.
and I
some
know
people
that those kind of trades. I know that's going to take 4 hours, 8 hours, or a couple of
Mhm.
days, but with that pattern of the chart, I feel comfortable and relaxed. I'll just enter and then live my life, go to work, go to the gym, play table
Yeah.
tennis or whatever it is, and just let the
Yeah.
price action do its thing.
A friend of mine is also a very successful trader, and he does only that. He only does 4 hour reversals, nothing else. Like even only on 3 pairs.
Yeah,
He picks 3 pairs and waits for the reversal. That's it. He
I
does
bet
nothing.
you sometimes
Simple.
you could do 2, 3, 4 trades a month.
Yeah.
Quality
Yeah.
over quantity.
Yeah.
It's a very addictive thing, trading the dopamine, making money. So the habit that I'm doing my best to do is like to not be an everyday trader.
Mhm.
The days to trade on the setups
Yes.
there, and then there's some days that I've got to be more patient. They can even potentially pull back for a better
Yeah.
price, or there's
Excellent.
news or whatever it is.
Guys, what about auto gap zones? Did you pay much attention to them or not so much?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
like,
do you use them now and then?
I use them
In
like when they
your-
work, like they work. Like it's like to have certain targets, so at least to go in a certain way, up or down move. At least you know that the smart money likes to go up to a certain direction, and you can actually use that to encourage you to hold on
Like
a
when you
little
see
bit
the
longer.
open box, no?
I use it
Yes,
for
yes.
entry positions.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, when it fills up, maybe
Ah,
I'll
when it
enter
fills up and you
and
wanna
then
go
I'll go
the-
back the opposite way.
Both is very good. Yeah.
Um,
I haven't highlighted that so much, but if you actually do an analysis, you will find, look, even in this one, look at that. Today, they didn't only take the MTS, they also took the auto gap zone. You see?
Yeah.
Like whenever you see the auto gap zone,
what was that? The
you see?
USD JPY, yeah?
The dollar yen, yeah.
Mhm.
Whenever you see they being together, or sometimes even MTS plus auto gap zone plus option strike target, that's a good target,
Yeah,
Eventually-
oh yeah, you know
So as
that.
long as you don't have the squeeze on the way, they want to.
Yeah, that's when you should go. That's when you should be pushing size.
Sure. I mean, of course, in this one, the auto gap zone was very tight. Normally, when it's wider, it's more significant. No, they want to fill, limit orders which are there.
You've just got to follow the process, and the more I've had opinions thinking, it's too high, it's got to go back down or whatever, that's when you get burnt. You just got to follow
Yeah.
the instructions.
Maybe that's something we can talk about.
Like that's why the screen
Yeah.
time of just learning or seeing how GBP JPY went down like 6,000 pips. You know,
Yeah.
I thought 2,000 was loads, then I saw 3,000 come, and then now 6. It's
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a very good point. No, like maybe to take a big picture approach, right? When you don't see the causality, you don't see the actual market. You're blind, isn't it?
yeah.
Right? It could go any way. It could continue. It could do a reversal, whatever. It could whipsaw. I think maybe that's one of the big conclusions, right? Like the market is fully manipulated without any edge. Your chances are very low. You have to really pay attention to what's going on, right? Understand, okay, what are these, and maybe also think like the algo, no? Like if I was the smart money algo, what would I take first?
Yeah.
Maybe that's another note I took down. You know, when I also was putting this together some years ago, the one thing which is really counterintuitive for me, and I would love to hear your guys' opinion. At the beginning, I thought they always go and take the stops,
Yeah.
but now you realize, wait a second, they can have the cake and eat it because they have full control. It doesn't make no sense to directly take it, right?
Yeah.
First, they want all the money, so they do a nice counter move, and then at some point they take it.
Ah, yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
The algo's not in a rush to
Yeah,
get the stops.
exactly.
We are in a
We are.
rush, especially when you're in size. Like myself, Euro JPY, I missed the target by literally 30 pips or something. The algo did not want to take it. It just pulled back.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
You
It's
know,
like
So that's why I was like, I should have just grabbed the profits.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the target price if I'm walking around anywhere doing my work or whatever and it gets filled. But sometimes if I'm there right in front of the computer and I see it so close, I should just grab it. Forget those 20, 30 extra pips.
sure,
Because it pulled back and I was like, oh my god.
but that's amazing, isn't it? It's like
You could have taken it out, then go back, re-enter.
Yeah. Like when you think about it, it makes complete sense, though, right? Because if they would not have full price control, they maybe it would be different. They would directly take it. You know what I mean? And rather clear it out. But as you can see, there's
So when you learn that the algo is not in a rush,
Yes.
and that we are, that's why you should make sure that you play smaller size, so you're not so stressed out.
Yeah.
When you're playing big size, you've got high expectations. You just want to grab your profits and go to the next trade.
Yeah.
But in my case, I was green, and then it went down,
Yeah.
back red. You know, it's like a yo-yo,
Nice.
just a roller coaster of emotions.
perfect.
And maybe if I
really
would have
good.
played smaller size, I would have maybe executed it better.
Exactly.
I would
no?
have filled it. I would have filled it. I would have filled the OC. I think
Sure.
it filled today, yesterday when it was.
Yeah, like you know, sometimes if you almost
Sometimes
hit the
making
target.
less is more as well.
Yes, and also if you almost hit the target and you see that suddenly the causality turns neutral, sometimes it makes sense to take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
sometimes the bias goes away, and then it doesn't make sense to insist on the last bit. You know, rather saying, okay, look, the thing right now is neutral. If I wouldn't have had the trade and I would be at the screen right now and I wouldn't need to reevaluate, I would say, well, right now it's neutral even though it's close to the target. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So again, it takes discipline to say, you know what, the bias is gone, the price came nicely, I take it. It can completely turn the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Maybe to conclude, what do you guys feel about that? Because so far we didn't have many dumb money switches, but the one dangerous thing is dumb money switches. And by the way, as a footnote, the only technical weakness we still have, and it will stay that way, I think, is with big news a dumb money switch. So remember, the data normally is not delayed, but the only situation where the position bars can be a little bit delayed is when you have a big news item like US unemployment or inflation, and then suddenly the dumb money is switching in a big way. So in those situations, that's why sometimes the GMT turns red, because there's a delay and the data comes in a little bit later. Just keep that in mind. This is one of the very few weaknesses we have with the technology, and it's not a problem as long as you don't trade big on news, which we don't do anyways. But keep it in mind.
Maybe stay away from it and wait for the news to come.
Yes, and also apart from that, generally in the market structure, and we will probably see that more soon, because we didn't have it for a while. But that's the one thing everybody should be careful about: dumb money switches, right? You have for 4 sessions everything green, the dumb money went long, the price went down. Suddenly the thing switches, so you have like, you know, shorties coming in, big red bars, 80, 90 on the scale, whatever, depending on the pair, and then the whole market structure is completely switched. So just as another note, pay attention to that. Of course, for our reversals, you want the switch because you want to trade it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just be careful if you try to write something and there is a risk of the thing switching. As soon as you see the counter dumb money and it's not small on the scale, you know, be careful because it may completely run away in the other direction, you know.
Yeah. No, be prepared to take a loss. Not all trades are going to be 100% success rates.
Yeah.
Some of them have to be a loss.
Yeah.
You have to strategize everything with each trade. You can't just be going in just got to put a trade just like wing it, because when you wing it, sometimes it just everything just goes your wrong way.
Exactly.
And that's you always have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, no, like it's literally, like you say, it's literally strategizing the trade includes everything, right?
Yeah.
The risk management, the trade management, your mindset, psychology as well, of course, your size,
Stress management.
News.
Yeah.
In 2 days, I have big news coming out. What do I do? You know, having a plan, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. You should always write down like the week of the news, like what's coming about, so you're aware of it, so it doesn't shake you up and be like the market just completely
Yeah.
goes down and just
Yeah.
unexpected or up.
Yeah, no,
So-
it's good. Like, really, we wake up now. Mondays, on Sundays, I look at the events that are going to happen that next week, and I plan. I say, do I trade this or not? Because there's going to be a lot of volatility.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes it's not. I'll say I'll wait for this news to happen, and then I'll see if there's any targets, and I'll see the structure from there.
Sure.
You can get there late.
Yeah.
And if you got high conviction, and the news has happened, you can maybe play with bigger size.
Yeah, sure.
You know, but the thing is, it's hard to get out of the market. We like to be in the casino.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's the seducing part, but yeah, the less
you want to be in the casino as little as possible.
Exactly, right?
The longer you're in the casino, the higher the chance the house will win.
Absolutely, and as you can see, the house always wins. We have a chance to profit based on the technology, but as you can see, as soon as we go outside of that edge, or we try to trade a market which is neutral, right, where the money is kind of balanced, there's no nice target nearby, or maybe there are two targets, one on each side. There, sometimes we don't have an edge, right? We have to say, you know what, this looks pretty neutral. I can't know whether they will first take the upper or lower one.
Trade your edge.
Yeah.
See what works best for you. If it's
Yeah.
OSTs, MTSs, the squeezers, just rinse and repeat those trades.
Yeah.
I can't do all of them. At least I don't feel comfortable doing all
Sure.
of them. Like the order gap zones is not my favorite go-to trade. But yeah, just rinse and repeat what you're good at.
Yeah.
And because if you're sticking to trades that you're not good at, you're going to be losing and losing.
Yes.
And
I think that's great
That's not
advice.
edge.
And also maybe because we talked about strategizing trades and that topic, maybe to also start with one setup and then increase the toolbox over time, right?
Yeah, of course. That's the thing, that you have to just build that conviction and understanding how the strategy works and how to enter with it when it is time to push it, when to not.
The
And once
games
you get the probability that you know it works and you've been getting the screen time, you get to understand that intuition, like what we were discussing
Intuition,
before.
great guys. Yeah, this is
So-
good.
It will all come naturally, and you'll be able to get into a flow state of being able to execute the way you want.
That's it. Nice one, guys. This is very great. This is great content. Thanks a lot, guys. This is exactly the
But
stuff.
with a few trades a week, you know, it can all compound. Like it's crazy. There's obviously in this journey of like seeing stocks and all, people have made very big money from just a few $1,000s, and we've got targets, very concrete, very good targets.
Sure.
So if you get your good entries with the good size that you don't get shaken off, you can compound those
Yeah.
gains, and you can
Literally.
get those big gains after as well.
100%. You know, if you ask me, trading is only a few components, right? It's the edge, and the edge is taken care of by the MK. It really is. The biggest problem traders have, it's that. So you can literally focus on what you said, no? The risk management, the trade execution, psychology, mindset. It's literally those basic components, really, isn't it? You know, because everything results from that. Being adaptive, doing your market analysis, then being adaptive in your aggressiveness and selection of trades and how you manage them. Screen time, this is a big one, I think. Actually observing how the things unfold, right? Getting a feeling for it in your subconscious until you're in this flow state and you're not thinking as such. No, oh, there's a target. You already have seen it a few times, so you already have a feeling, oh, wait a second, they're going to take that eventually, so I'm looking for good entry. To be honest, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Like, you know what I mean? There's no need to reinvent the wheel. You can literally then focus in the next step on all the stuff we discussed before, no? Your life, managing your life, that you know, you work out and you don't have
Have a daily structure.
daily structure, you know, all these self-improvement
Eat
things.
well, sleep
Eating
well,
sleeping
live well.
100%. Getting away from the electro smog at the weekends. Thankfully,
Yeah.
forex still closes at the weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I agree, guys. This is amazing. Very good. Thank you so much. This is a great, great overview of many, many topics, and I'm really happy that we also were able to go into detail on some of these topics. Well done, guys. I'm very proud of you because you both did really well, very well, and it's for me very exciting also to see. Okay, how do other brains with their eyes experience that and implement that, right? That's very fascinating to me to see, because obviously I'm also human with my subjective perception. So to actually see how other people, other traders approach the causality, the realities, and work with that, that's really, really super cool. Well, thank you, guys.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting moment now in capital markets, right? Stocks came down big time now. They're bouncing a bit now. Bitcoin is bouncing. I'm bullish on Bitcoin.
I think it went down. No, I saw. I didn't
Went
look.
down
I
a
didn't
lot.
look at the chart today. I didn't look. But
Yeah.
I saw some headline or something. 5%
Down a
or
lot.
something.
Yeah, then it did a nice bounce. So I think long term it's going to be good. But I tell you,
I don't trade it.
Sure,
I trade edge. You know.
yeah, there's no point really, like with the forex pairs. I mean,
yeah.
come on, you know why?
I just
Yeah.
trade edge.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and come on, we have all these markets on all the time frames. You know.
Exactly.
We have enough on our plate. I mean, of course, you can use the Bitcoin charts also.
No, yeah.
It does
But-
work.
No, of course.
You know, like the,
No, they'll have the NTSs. I've seen them get
Yeah.
hit. But yeah, I feel more comfortable
Sure.
what I'll trade. I'm not very comfortable with the AUDs, so I'm staying away from them. You
the
know?
gold, the silver.
Oh yeah, gold, silver. Be careful.
Be careful because
yeah, I
remember,
had my biggest loss in silver.
because remember that the denomination is different, of course.
It's
yeah.
a completely different vehicle. I actually we went for an OST. I can't remember what happened. I think it was news or something. But I was playing. I was so used to the one lot, but one lot in silver is completely different.
Yeah,
And it
of
was
course.
10 times the size, so I made a bigger loss than I really wished.
Yes, and by the way, also remember to go, for example, on a position calculator website. Be always precise with these things, because there you can, put in the pair, the time frame, the current price, and it shows you exactly how many lots you can use. I think in the forum I've actually pasted also a lot calculator for MT4, which is free as well. So I recommend that. Download
I'll
it.
check it out, yeah.
Yeah, because then you simply put in manually. This is the percentage I want to risk. This is my target. This is my stop loss, and so on. And then it gives you the right lots.
Yeah.
Don't do it like feeling wise.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
We have to be precise. I know sometimes the markets are moving and you're like quickly calculating, but
Yeah, good thing I took that loss on the silver because it was squeezing up even more. It was.
yeah, exactly. And of course, I mean, this is a while ago, but beginner mistakes are if, for example, you do a calculation wrong or something. It happens. It
You
really
learn,
does.
no, you just learn. It's
You
just what
learn.
it is.
But this is very important to have like some impeccability regarding each pair. Okay,
I'll stick to my boring trades,
I'll do
and
that,
make
yeah.
profits. I don't want that exhilaration or anything.
sure. I mean, what's interesting as a footnote, when you look at the historical data of gold, you will find that many systems perform much better on gold because somehow the price movement overall is a bit more significant than many forex pairs. But I agree what you said. Like for me, it's just another pair. Like look, we have already so many.
Yeah, there's too many, and it's
Too
like a
many.
sweet shop.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing so many, so you got to be
Yeah,
disciplined.
but I did do this the gold short. I think 2 weeks ago. That was nice. I couldn't say no, but I'm
Hey,
like
the
you,
opportunity presented
Yeah.
itself,
But I agree. Like
and your experience, you know what size you can handle.
yeah, like
I remember that was my first silver trade. No, it was not my first silver trade. It was the first silver trade with conviction that I had. I said, I'm going to go with the bigger size. And really, I should have just stuck with the tiny, minuscule size.
sure. By the way, what do you guys sometimes trade Euro, Aussie, Pound, Aussie, or not so much?
When, when
When the opportunity, like
presents
when it all
itself.
aligns correctly, because sometimes though I've had issues where I've had big drawdowns, but that's because I was just looking at it just seemed empty, and in reality, how to
Yeah,
respond to that in a
AUD
certain way is very
more
tough to
than-
gauge it.
Yeah.
Because you think it's going to go one way, but it just goes the other way. But when
See-
I think it was recently, I think last month or 2 months ago, when the pound Aussie went well because everything was aligned. You had your
Yeah.
squeeze, you had your dynamic, like everything was correlating
Yeah.
correctly. Then I could enter the trade, but I don't have that as much conviction to actually go. I'm going to just trade.
Interesting.
Honestly.
The same with me. I'm very
Yeah.
selective. Those two pairs, like you say, like only if I really like the structure, I trade them. Otherwise, I'm not doing much in them.
Yeah.
Neither. It's interesting. I agree. Like I tend to like pound yen a lot.
Yeah.
Even euro pound. I did the long euro pound against the
Euro
shorties. That was
pound.
probably one of my best trades of the last 2 weeks. You remember, like euro pound came all the way down, and then you had like a switch and shorties coming in.
Yes, yes,
And I
yes,
got
yes,
like a
yes.
really
What
good.
was that last month you're referring
No,
to?
no, it was a week ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you guys saw it, but then shorties came in and did this nice pullback, and I got like a really nice entry all the way back to the moving averages.
Beautiful.
That was probably one of
Yeah, no, it's also because you've got so many years of screen
Sure,
time,
yeah.
and you like that's why we're getting more screen time. We're seeing the price action, so
Sure.
hopefully future moves will be ready for those kind of moves as well.
But literally, like, interesting that you say it, because in the last 3 weeks I traded significantly less than normal. And that's probably, like you say, because I've seen it many years. I kind of know this is not a phase where I can do many trades. So looking at my trade frequency, it went really down recently, but all we know now is there's going to be an interesting coming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So for that we have to be on point. So it's going to be a very, very interesting marketplace now.
There are
Many-
periods when it's super, super, super hot,
Yeah.
and that's when you want to go hard.
That's it.
And when it's not super, super, super
No.
hot,
Yeah.
you gotta just cool it off and take it easy.
Exactly. And like when I saw also the big clean out moves, like this one and the
Oh
other.
yeah, thank God I wasn't holding a position.
Yeah.
That,
Like even where they take out targets which are far away, but they literally take them and go back.
yeah.
Like that's why what you said earlier, Anna. No, like it's always good to check the higher time frames.
Do you wake up on Sundays when the market opens?
Yeah, no,
Are
no.
you up? Are you awake?
Yeah, like
What's it, is that midnight or
11,
is that
yeah.
11
Normally I'm
o'clock?
at the screens at 11 to make sure that charts are
Sunday
running.
11.
But I'm not trading much on Sunday. Like
mhm.
normally I watch until like spreads go down, things are settled.
Spreads go down at 12, don't they? I
Yeah,
believe?
yeah. Like I would say these days, and these things will change in the future. Interesting to see this video in 10 years because these things will change. But right now, well, like you say, at 11 on a Sunday when the market's open, spreads will be wide for 30 minutes even, no?
Yeah, 30 minutes, an hour or so.
But I think in 3 years I think it's gonna be super tight. I know.
So yeah, I do my best to sleep before 11 or so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think there's big
With the
value.
causality, we can,
Yeah.
unless you're in a position, you
Yeah.
don't really need to be.
Yeah, nice that you ask. I think there's most of the time to wake up to be awake at the screens on a Sunday evening probably doesn't bring you much value.
I wake up early and I sleep early, so
Yeah.
that's the thing. I
think
used to be a
that's-
1 o'clock guy, but now I'm sleeping around 10:30,
I think
11
that's
later.
better.
Yeah.
I think that's better, really.
I wake up early. Sometimes
Yes.
I even see, like yesterday, I saw that Euro or USD, and I saw the squeeze, so I entered, and that was a great, perfect entry.
Yeah. There's an interesting phenomena, by the way. I used to call it slow Monday, and it still exists. Like sometimes on the Monday, the markets are very slow and range bound. But this has changed. Like it appears, but then it disappears again. The one thing which you can still see, like this week, is a Friday reversal. No, the markets go
Yes.
and then Friday they do a big reversal,
Mhm,
especially with news. That's a pattern which I think will also exist for a while. Like not every week, but sometimes when the markets went into one direction, often on a Friday for some reason, they clear out.
Yeah, no, you've said that quite a lot, and I'm still every Friday I do look actually at that as well.
Yeah, but to be
To
honest,
add
like
that.
these things, I don't expect them to continue to be there. The
Yeah.
algos have taken everything away. Like we said at the very beginning, no, like there used to be times in the day when in lunchtime, the things would slow down. But these things don't really.
Do you
exist.
have a preferred time to trade?
You asked
8
me
o'clock,
before.
9 o'clock,
To be honest,
midday, 3:30? Is
Yeah.
American markets open, or
I have to say it changes so much.
just
Uh,
depends on the structure?
Yeah, like in forex, I don't think these days it makes much sense anymore to fix the time. I know there used to be people who used to trade this London breakout, and I did a lot of testing on London breakouts, and there was a phase. where-
London breakup meaning what? The London opening, or
Yes, so London opening, and then if the price was flat and there's suddenly a breakout in one direction, it's true. In pound dollar, there was a tendency for it to continue, and people were creating bots on that. It has changed, and there will always be phases like that again, I think, right, where there's like this phenomenon. But in terms of consistency, over a month, It's the algos destroy all of that. You
No, like,
they don't care. Like, like they care what the dumb money in the stocks are. Like they don't impose anything on the market. Yeah, right. They do the breakout. Okay, if the short is on the market, okay, they do the breakout to the upside. But if they're not then there, they do like it.
I've been looking and seeing a lot of reversals at maybe 5:30. In America, that's 10:30. So in
Yeah.
stock trading, they say after 10:30 don't trade. They'll reverse it or squeeze it or something. And I've seen that pattern quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean the one
They
thing.
fade it, make it look weak, and
Yeah.
then they'll just
The one thing you still can see in 2024 is at 3:30 our time when the American markets open.
yeah.
Then normally
2:30 is when there's a lot
Yeah.
of volatility
Yes.
news like CPI
Yeah.
and all these economic numbers come,
Yeah.
and then you can expect volatility as
like
well.
this pattern exists, but I think that's because literally when the big stock markets in the US open, people actually place trades and funds place trades. So that's why
Yeah, people are waking up.
Sure.
They're just
Sure. But back in the days, like I'm talking in the 90s, you could literally trade on these kind of things to make money. But this is all over, and it won't come back. Like these easy things, there will be less and less. Like this arbitrage, like even the new stuff is gone, will not come back. These kind of
Yeah, you're
time
playing
trades.
against computers. They
Yes.
just hear a word. Jerome Powell says one word. The algo hears it, and it'll automatically go short or long depending on that
That's it.
word. And they're way faster than us.
Maybe that's a great topic to conclude because, look, you could literally say, couldn't you, that the smart money is AI? And this was one of the areas where AI was normal long before it affected all the other areas of society like now, right? Now AI is taking over all kinds of normal things in the economy. But we already saw years ago that what AI is doing. So if you want, you can call the market causality anti-AI trading because we're literally the last human traders trying to compete with the machines, right? It's literally
Yeah.
man versus machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's very interesting because, as you can see, AI is taking over everything now. But this is our last bastion of human traders, and let's see what happens in the future, right? I mean, and scalability, right? If a big fund or big account would put too much into these things could change. But I think, as you can see, because of the last 3 years, it got so efficient, They literally only do that now. Did you realize that there are less and less gaps at the weekend? Because they don't need it. Before you had sometimes on a Sunday when the markets open, a 400 pip gap up, right? They don't do this anymore. Like the number of gaps over the last 8 months.
Yeah, you don't see that
Don't see
actually.
it?
I don't never seen it. I don't think I've really seen
The
a.
weekend.
I thought that was a stock kind of thing. Really.
Yeah, that used to be a big thing. Like, like 5 years ago, like the weekend gaps, and they would do it, Always, by the way, against the dumb money. They would never gap into the dumb money.
Yeah, because I can imagine market close and people would just
Yeah.
be throwing their
Yeah.
orders and then instantly they enter and
Yeah.
already in
That's
the red.
exactly. And now there's no need for it because why? Like you said before, no, they're not in a rush. Why should they do this dramatic thing? They do it slowly, And it takes some more guys on the way.
They want to just lure as many people as possible to take their money. Yeah.
Right? And in stocks, of course, you still have gaps every day, right? When the market opens, closes, stocks gap.
It's a different structure because forex is a lot more bigger.
Yeah.
You're dealing with smaller floats, maybe
Yeah.
a few $1 million this company,
Exactly.
as opposed to the $1 trillion
Yeah.
pair.
Exactly. Anyways, guys, anything more you want to add? what maybe to end? What about the future? What are your guys' approaches for the next 2 months?
Just refining on the strategy, just making the strategy work for me with my work and my routine. Like playing big size to play like for the big home runs. It's fun unless there's a really good edge, I'll do it. But if not, I'm going to play smaller size and just let it do its work because it will fill all these OSTs and NTSs. If I play small, I won't be in a rush.
Sure.
When I play bigger, the emotions is just up and down. I don't.
Sure. So consistency,
Consistency, yes, healthier equity curve, rather than just going up and then all of a sudden a massive
Sure.
loss.
Sure.
You don't want to give back too many of your gains, We
Yeah.
work very hard.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
yeah. You learn from you have to experience it to learn from
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
it.
But if you ask me, it's the only way is losses. Like you said at the very beginning, like the biggest lessons is the losses,
Yeah.
right? And you don't do it if you did the big one and it hurt,
Yeah.
and like you say, you worked a lot of sessions too.
It's all stress tolerance as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've also got to get used to being down a significant amount to then make more money as well.
Yes.
Um,
Sure. Like
Some people are scared to be down $100 or whatever
Sure.
it is. I just imagine if you're down $1,000, but you might want to make more money, so you have to really risk.
That's
those
the thing with the
200 pips.
tolerance, really.
Yes.
That has to be built up like a muscle.
Yes.
And once you're able to handle it, if you're very stressed out about $100, for example, you have to just have that acceptance and detach from the money. And having a right size in place allows you to have that. So, for example, if it goes completely against you and you go down to zero from that position, you should be comfortable with it. It shouldn't be too stressed on you, and then it builds up with time,
Yeah.
and then you can be a little bit more, add a little bit more size. But
Yeah.
everything requires patience and have the right process.
Process, yeah, trade process,
Yeah.
not for profits.
Yes.
When you think
Yeah.
about profits, that's
Yes.
when things get really difficult.
And you know what? As I say, one of the hardest things is really to trade out of a hole. I've done it once in a big way, years ago, and it was very tough. Like when every day, like you see the red numbers and you trade back up. But it's also a big lesson. I told you, I have this one guy, my friend Sultan. He was on the podcast a few years ago, and his strategy is, he's doing the basket trading, and he does very very good profits. But then now and then he gets hit by a counter move.
Yeah.
What he does is even his risk management. He will discretionary adjust it. He will trade small, work his way back up. Like a poker player kind of. Super interesting. So it's very discretionary. You need to literally follow that plan strictly because he doesn't want another hit after that.
Yeah, sometimes
Very
just
interesting.
playing smaller size, you're making more with less stress.
Yeah.
Like if I play small size, I can do a podcast with you, or read my book, go to the gym, spend time with my friends and family, do other hobbies, and I won't be needing to look at the screen so constantly because I'm
Sure.
not risking so much on my account.
Sure.
Actually, that's trading rather than gambling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like recently. That's exactly what I've been doing. I've been super puristic. Not even sometimes even skipping small trades. Saying like, "Man, I skipped it altogether. Wait until the good stuff comes." And you know what the cool thing is? All you got to do is wait because the cool stuff is coming, isn't it? We have seen it now so long. The next phase with all the targets is coming. All you got to do is collect your pips there.
Minuscule size, you can get good money. It's just that as the brokers give you so much leverage so easily, it's so easy to say I can make a lot more money a lot
Sure.
faster.
But like you say, it's literally just an illusion because if your edge is not there, the leverage won't help you. You will lose more, isn't it? And remember, like trading is one of the few things where when it goes badly, you lose.
Yeah.
Right? In other areas of business, you may not make money, but you lose. That's why, I always feel for people who are retired, who have savings, and then they get caught into, trading because they saw some stupid broker or prop firm advertisement and YouTube scammer, and they promise them they can make all these returns and whatnot and make 100% every month, and they end up losing everything. That's not right. I hope that the truth is spread and people understand. No, it's super dangerous. Look at the statistics, right? Over 90% of people lose. We can see why. Because, come on. If even imagine you don't have any orientation in the market, you're lost. You're lost. Maybe you can do some long-term trading and really do a few trades every month. I'm not saying it's impossible, but for most people, like just with statistical indicators, come on. These days are over, and there used to be days where it worked, but this is over a long time ago, right?
Yeah, the game's changed.
Game has changed. These algos dominated completely. So all we can do is understand that, trade, right, and like we discussed today, really nicely. Be adaptive, and maybe also see the reality how it is, right? Not coming with ideas like saying, oh, this looks very whipsawy. This is nothing.
Yeah.
Might not be worth your stress. You
Not
can
worth your
maybe
stress.
save your mental capital by not trading that day, and then tomorrow presents another one,
Yeah.
and you can use that mental capital and execute better.
Sure, and sometimes what happens also is like I think today's going to be slow, and suddenly I see 4 setups.
Yeah.
That also happens, isn't
It
it?
does happen.
It
It does
happens.
happen.
So then you can say, oh, wait a second, there's money to be made, take it, right? So it's not that you have to be slow all the time, but yeah, maybe that's
When
one
it
of-
presents itself.
exactly. Maybe that's one of the big messages of today.
Is there a setup? What is a setup? Can
Yeah.
you name the setup?
Yeah, Yeah.
And sometimes even having to question the setup, saying like, you have an idea for a setup, question it. Say, why do you think it's not a
Yeah.
setup?
Yeah.
Because you have to go the counter
Good.
perspective on it.
Exactly, no? Because sometimes, let's say you see an MTS, but then if you take a close look, everything will first go in the other direction.
Yep.
Right? And you know, sometimes it can even leave the MTS, so you have to say, wait a second, is it really a good time? Or should I
Yeah.
wait 10 hours? No, until maybe there's some shorties coming in and I can. Very good point, 100%. Like, that's maybe the one.
You can't get all of them as well.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss some trades, some
FOMO.
setups.
The fear of missing out, no? Maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, sometimes you see a target, you say, easy trade, but it's not the squeeze lines going against it, so you really shouldn't go for those trades.
It happens. Even happens to me. Like some days I'm like, oh man, it took all the targets I was marking, but I wasn't in there. But it's life, right? You can't catch
You
it.
can't be, you don't have slave of every single thing as well.
So maybe, to conclude, the idea is to be consistent, to create a nice equity curve without big swings. The trade frequency will vary. Sometimes you can trade more than in other phases. And the more you move towards that, the better for yourself. Less stress, more persistence, no bad surprises, not gambling on the news. Trying to avoid things such as weekend gap risk and all these things. Selecting the right pairs, right? Sometimes Euro, Aussie, Pound, Aussie are not so interesting. Sometimes they have loads of targets. What else comes to your mind, guys? It's so interesting, isn't it? We can carry on and on.
Yeah, no,
It's
we
a
could
fascinating
go on
thing.
for hours and hours,
But
honestly.
I think so far we have covered all the things.
We've covered quite a lot.
Yeah, it was really good, guys.
But yeah, in regards maybe sleep management, screen management, I think is something that
Just
seeing
finding a
how
life out of the
yeah,
screens.
the life out of screens. I've seen
This
how
is a good conclusion. You're gonna take the conclusion on this.
yeah,
That's good.
in regards to screen management, we all being hooked on the phones and looking at the trades, looking at the charts, thinking pressing the button. It's been a big factor in just like making you press it. In reality, we have to manage the screen time that we're using. So with the screen time, reducing it reduces the stress, reduces helps the quality of sleep, and all this stuff. It's a big factor in actually allowing us to reset for the next day and executing correctly. And that's why I also say strategize, because if you strategize everything, you put your target where you want to enter in, your stop loss where you want, and where your target price that you want to get, it allows you to have that clear mind without even having to look at the screen. And I think that is a big factor, seeing how we are nowadays with the phones.
Yes.
It just keeps us there looking at the price.
I think that's a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. That was really
Thank
good.
you.
Really proud of you
Thanks,
guys.
bro.
Continue your journey, and hopefully you guys liked it. I think there were many nuggets today. Let me know if you like these kind of things, and we should do it again. And we wish you all the best. If you have questions, post them in the forum. I check it on a regular basis, and I try to help. No matter whether these are questions regarding to the causality, how things work. I will do more of the time-lapse videos also.
Yes.
In the next days and weeks. Take care.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Thank you.